God damn it. Howie Kendrick is hurt again. I was hoping that the Phillies would be able to get rid of him in the nick of time so Nick Williams could play full time. Tony Del Grosso and Kyle Gaffner are both here. I'm Adrian Fedke. We're here to talk about Nick Williams. We got a little Pat Neshek trade going on. We're going to get into that. A lot to talk about on this show. So let's bring the fellas on. How's it going?
Yo, what's up? How's it going, guys?
Yeah,
glad to be here.
Hell yeah. So we got Phillies baseball talk again. Hell yeah. So let's get into Nick Williams and what he's been able to do. So obviously he's crushing it ever since he's been called up. He's freaking hitting 309. He's got 4 homers, 19 RBI, 11 runs, and on-base percentage of 348. So the question I have for you guys is this. First of all, what are you seeing from Nick Williams? And second, can he continue this pace?
Go ahead, Tony. I'll let you take this.
Okay, well, I've pretty much loved what I've seen from him so far. He's looked super comfortable at the plate. Pitches, he's driving the ball a lot. Do I think he's going to keep it up? Unfortunately, no. I hate to be Debbie Downer, but you look at his minor league numbers. His minor league on base percentage is 328. I think we just said. So he's hitting 20 points above that in the major leagues. Doesn't really compute, but every once in a blue moon you see a guy who, because of the extra video, because of the better lights, because of this, that, and whatever, better at the major league level than they do the minor league level. But again, that's very, 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 very rare. And unfortunately, I do think that Nick Williams is going to come back down to earth a little bit. I hope I'm wrong. As a Phillies fan, I really, really do. But I don't think he's going to keep up the 348 on base percentage. Put it that way. Maybe he'll keep up the 300 average. Yeah. But I think the on base.
Yeah, and I think it will too. I mean, he's been outstanding driving in runs. He's only second to Cody Bellinger with the Dodgers by hitting that many RBIs within a month since he's been called up. So he's been outstanding there. It feels like he's really brought life to this Phillies team ever since he's been called up. And I agree with you there. I don't think he's going to be able to maintain that off-base percentage. He's done this since we've gotten him in that Cole Hamels trade. He's had a lot of hot streaks in Double-A, and then he slumped for a few months. And the same thing when he went up to Triple-A. He was real hot for a month and a half, and then he cooled down for a while. But he will hit for average because he can see the ball real well. His hands are really, really quick. I think they've been quicker than I've seen them since we've gotten him here. I mean, he's seeing the ball outstanding. He's driving the ball, and he's even got a little bit of pop. He's not going to be a guy that's going to be hitting 30 home runs. I'd say the max probably around 20 home runs for him. Maybe if he adds a little bit of weight, like we were talking pre-show, he could add some more pop, but the guy's been outstanding.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Like you were saying, he's 6'3", 195.
What's up?
Oh, sorry.
No, it's all good. Go ahead. Say what you want to say.
He probably could put on 10, 15 pounds of weight pretty comfortably, so maybe he could do that in the next couple years. Still only 23. Like you also mentioned, his hand-eye coordination seems to be better than average. At least put it that way. He for a guy who struck out a ton in the minor leagues. Now that I've seen multiple at bats of him multiple days, it's kind of surprising that he did strike out that much. I think maybe it was more of a pitch recognition type of thing than it was just hand-eye coordination, because he doesn't seem to swing and miss nearly as much as I expected him to.
And do you think that would have to do with where he's batting in the lineup? Because a lot of the time they were picking and choosing. He would sometimes bat first at AAA, and then they'd bring him down to the 6 hole sometimes, and even at the 5. So do you think hitting in the 3rd hole or hitting 3rd is really helping his pitch recognition?
Yeah, I'm probably almost definitely hitting 3rd in the lineup. More pitches to hit, generally speaking. And, I don't have any data to prove this, but I'm assuming the first couple weeks he was up here, he's probably seen more fastballs than he's going to see the rest of the year because, here's a new kid, 23-year-old, just came up from the minors. Let's see what he's got. Here's my best pitch. Let's give you your best swing. And he's won a lot of those battles so far. But as you know, the last 2 months go on, you're not going to see so many pitchers just straight up challenging him like that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know what's been great? The 3 and 4 hitters have actually been kind of producing the last month. It hasn't happened all season long. Michael Franco started turning around a little bit, and obviously with Nick Williams. So that's cool to see.
Yeah.
If you actually look at young guys, Herrera, Altair, and Williams, that actually has been a pretty good outfield for the past month roughly. So that's something.
Yeah.
And I love the way he's been fielding too. Did you see that play 2 games ago where he handled the ball, it bounced off the corner, he grabbed it with one hand and he rocketed it with one. He didn't even crow hop. He literally just gunned it right to home plate and he got the guy out by a mile. I mean, the guy is an outstanding defensive player too. We know that, and he's got some wheels on the bases too. He had a great play last night where the third baseman, fell asleep on a routine infield fly. Nobody was over there, so he decided just to grab the bag. So heads up play. He's a smart guy.
Yeah.
Like you said before, he's
All right, let's get into how he can avoid falling victim to the Dominic Brown syndrome. So we know about pitcher adjustments and how they adjust to the hitters. The job for the hitter now would be to adjust back, and we'll see over time, kind of what happens. Now, they say that Nick Williams' weak point is if you pitch him up high and you kind of pitch him inside. So what do you think he has to do to kind of counter back to the adjustments that he's going to see over the next, couple months?
I got to say, quick hands, and I don't know if you guys played baseball. I'm a left-handed hitter myself. We like it low, and we kind of like to golf it out. So if you go high on us or come inside, it really doesn't give us that extension to really cock back and really drive the ball. So I still feel like even if they come inside, he's going to have really quick hands just to, kind of spread the ball out. You don't have to hit a home run every time. Just make contact with that bat and ball.
Tony, you got thoughts on it?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of look at over the course of baseball history, it seems like 90% of left-handed hitters like that ball low and in, especially when it's coming from a right-handed hitter or a right-handed pitcher. Just think about it; it works. Yeah, like you were saying, probably in the next couple months you're going to see guys challenging him high, where his weakness seems to be, and we'll see if he adjusts. He's 23 years old, so the physical tools are absolutely there. That is something you really can't question. Will he keep throwing? Will he keep making the adjustments and see what happens? He's going to have competition in the next couple of years too to stick around because the Phillies right now have a lot of depth in the outfield.
Oh yeah, for sure. And just to look at some of these advanced stat numbers, the StatCast exit velocity 90.95 miles an hour. That's pretty good.
And one more thing, he's really going to have patience there, which he's had.
I'm pretty sure that's above league average. I want to say.
Yeah, league average like 87. Good.
No, I was just saying, I just wanted to add on to something he should do as well when he's up there at the plate is I always used to hate facing left-handed pitchers. As we know, left on left, it's a little bit more difficult. So he's going to have to be a lot more patient when he's sitting there in the box because you don't see the ball as well coming out on the same side. So you just have to wait on the pitches a little bit, much like you do when there's breaking balls coming in.
Yeah. All right, let's get into Howie Kendrick now.
Yeah.
Jeez, this guy. Oh, I don't even know why they even freaking brought this guy in. But anyway, what are they going to do with this guy? All right, so he hurts his hand yesterday. Like, I want to trade this motherfucker, and they can't.
It's just been bad luck. He finally got back off the DL. I think he's been on there 2 or 3 times so far. It always looks like he's always on the DL, but just bad luck. He caught a pitch inside, cracked him right in the hand. I don't know what the results are. I don't know if he broke his hand. I don't know if he was fractured, but I know they were going to do some MRI testing today, but no news yet. But what are we supposed to do? When he's been on the field, he's been somewhat productive. So he would get you something.
I get all that, but like I'm tired of these young guys getting at bats taken away. Like it's that whole Michael Saunders and Howie Kendrick theory that we had earlier this season. Michael Saunders already gone.
Yeah.
Kendrick, we'll see what happens with him if they can get rid of him.
They can if you can make that August trade deadline. If he could stay healthy, let's bubble wrap him.
I can't hear either of you right now.
What's that, Tony?
I think he's on a delay, and he said he can't hear us.
Oh, I just heard that.
Tony just went black.
I pretty much didn't catch anything either of you just said about how he can.
Okay, well, here's what we'll say. So, all right, I was hoping that they'd be able to get rid of him before the July non-waiver trade deadline. Now they're pretty much going to have to wait until August. Mm-hmm. Kind of like how Carlos Ruiz has been traded, kind of like Chase Utley's been traded, all that. So, it sucks that they have to wait, but that's what they're gonna have to do.
It might better work in our. It might benefit us more though if we do wait. You know what I mean? Because maybe at some point somebody needs a bat at this stage when they're really making that playoff push. Maybe not so now because we're right there, right smack in the middle. But further on down the road, when you're getting close to playoff time, somebody might need that veteran bat off the bench. So this might benefit us.
Yeah, Tony, you catching any of this?
Maybe, I just caught both of that. Maybe there's a chance a contender, somebody gets hurt or whatever, and they need a left fielder or a second baseman. I think at this point, really the kind of only or / the most important thing is that whatever happens the rest of this year, that he's not taking away at bats from Williams, Altair, and Herrera. To me, that if he's consistently taking at bats away from those three guys, it doesn't make any sense to me. Because at this point, I mean, are you even going to get a guy who's even a projectable major league player? Probably not. You're probably at best going to get an organizational type, which means a guy who's going to flip-flop from AA and AAA throughout his whole career. Like, you're going to get that type of guy. So,
are you suggesting it's better to DFA him?
I don't know what the money issues would be for that, but considering the financial state the Phillies are in, that shouldn't really fucking matter. So I wouldn't at this point. Yeah, I don't think you can DFA a guy who's about to go on the DL or is on the DL. That's the
only once he comes back from it. That's kind of what I'm getting at.
Oh yeah.
Well, he hasn't been put on the DL yet. We don't know what the hell's going to happen with him.
Right. So I would be all for it. Just get him out of here.
Yeah. Well, you're not going to get anything back anyway.
No. Exactly. And he actually, like Kyle was saying before, when he's been on the field, he's been productive. He's actually been a really good hitter.
Oh, yeah. He's been one of the best players on the team. But,
you just can't stay healthy.
That's not what matters. It doesn't matter.
Right. Well, and he also has a 10-year Major League track record. So it's not like the rest of the Major League Baseball is going to be fooled by his whatever numbers are this year. I mean, they know what they're getting from him.
Yeah.
I think it's hurt him really to be converted to a left fielder or even an outfielder. It's a shame because his real true position is an infield player, and he should have never been put out in the outfield in the first place.
Yeah, I agree.
I guess you can trade for him and put him back in the infield.
Yeah, you could easily do that.
Have him as a reserve infielder, whatever you want to do with him.
I'm surprised they didn't do that when Cesar was hurt. Stick him at second base as opposed to try to juggle and see what we're doing. Now. It's just been a revolving door.
All right.
Yeah. All right. Let's get into Odubel Herrera and his bat flips and his shenanigans. So let's get into that. So I think Tony and Kyle are about to debate here. Seems like Tony isn't for the antics, or actually Tony is for the antics and Kyle is against it. So let's get into that.
Yeah. Well, hold on. Before we start, I want to say, I think we both agree that there's a difference between the bat flipping type of stuff and not running balls out type of stuff. It's two very different things to me.
Yeah. Me too.
Yeah, but personally, I fucking love it. I think that's the future of baseball. I think it's going to attract more kids. Blah blah blah. All that. This mantra that baseball players should never show emotion, I think, is going out the door. With that said, I don't think there's a right or wrong way. I mean, I grew up idolizing Chase Utley, and Chase Utley has almost never shown emotion on the field ever since probably the day he was born. Yeah. But like I said, that doesn't mean that Odubel Herrera bat flipping, routine pop up is the bad. I think when it comes down to it, it looks worse because he's on the worst team in baseball. if the Phillies were good, this would be so much more of a non-issue. To me, he's one of those guys where doing that kind of stuff irritates you as the other team. So if he's one of those guys where the 29 other teams hate him, then good, because you want players to get underneath the other team's skin. That's kind of how I look at it. And I also think it's fucking absurd that Cameron Rupp basically called him out about it, and then the very next day did a bat flip of his own.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what the definition of hypocrite is, but
that's about it right there.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. I mean, bat flipping, it's a new generation, and I think it kind of brings an attitude towards the game. And I think it's okay for him to bat flip. The thing I had a problem with is him not running out a pop-up. You just run as hard as you can. Don't even just sit there and just stand, because you don't know what could happen. We seen it last night where I think it was Aaron out there ran out a ball where the guy missed the infield. He missed the pop-up. He dropped it, and he was safe. You just always run out the bases, in my opinion. You learn that from Little League on. You just always run out the bases because you never know what's going to happen. So that type of crap I'm not all for. But the bat flipping, I mean, it is what it is. Who cares? I don't know why everybody's got to get on the guy's case for it. And I think Cameron Rupp was a little salty, to tell you the truth, because he hasn't been playing. So he just had to get on another teammate. And I think he was trying to rub it in Odubel's face by doing a bat flip of his own. You're right. Yeah,
I think Cameron Rupp realizes he's probably not going to be in the major leagues in a couple years. And if he is, it's going to be a backup on a bad team. Kind of like he is now.
His bat flips are limited, so get it out of his system while he can.
Yeah, like, I don't know. The thing, the not running balls out is concerning to me because, yeah, you should just do it. It is one of the few, like, old school things that I do believe in, especially a guy like Herrera. When he's going, he's an energy guy. He's an ignite, the spark plug. He's, kind of almost somewhat similar skill set to Jimmy Rollins. They always called him they always called him the spark plug. So you don't want your spark plug to not run balls out half the time. It's one of those things. And also, he's also the highest paid player on the team right now, even though he's not getting paid much. It is what it is, and he should lead by example.
Yeah, it sends a bad message when you don't do that when you're getting paid. It just kind of makes it look like, oh, you got paid and you don't really care. So you don't want to send that message to the younger guys.
Right. He's the only guy on the team with a real contract right now.
Here's what I'll say about the bat flipping. I look at it like the NFL and touchdown celebrations, and I love the fact that they are allowing NFL touchdown celebrations this year.
Thank God.
There was nothing better back in the day than, you get near the goal line, you're in the red zone, and Chad Ochocinco is about to score, or T.O. is about to score, and you're like, what are they going to do?
Right.
Once they score. And now it's like, well, some of these bat flippers are great. Like Josh Donaldson's a great bat flipper. Logan Morrison's probably the best one in the game right now. So I love the bat flipping. I'm all for it. It's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I think it's long overdue that baseball starts showing that these guys have personalities and they're not a bunch of robots out there. Like in the All-Star game when Nelson Cruz took the picture with the umpire, like that's good for baseball. Like it's little tiny shit like that actually goes a long way. Yeah,
it does. You got to move on. It's a new era of baseball, and you got to bring a little bit of attitude in, a little pizzazz, something to liven up the game and bring younger viewers in, because it's hurting a little bit. You've got to get with it. The NBA has Twitter, so they're really getting a rejuvenation of the youth into it. So and baseball can be a little dull sometimes. We can see it. That game last night was a little bit slow. It was great that we scored all those runs, but it was a little drug out. And the commentators are terrible, by the way. Let me add to that. We have awful commentators.
Dude, we could do a whole show about the commentators. Jesus Christ.
God, they didn't even talk about baseball last night. They talked about John Kruk's pants for 25 minutes.
Literally, that's all I talked about, and a little bit of food.
God, you saw.
They always talk about food.
John Kruk's fat face was sitting there shoving this giant hot dog down his throat, and he was like, yeah, baseball. He had all this sauerkraut pouring out of his cheeks. It was like going to the zoo, man. It was trife.
Yeah, those three are well. Kruk's all right, but
I was gonna say I'm never gonna hate on John Kruk, so I'm not gonna do that.
He's the best one, but when he's sitting there stuffing his face and it's like drooling out, and it's like you're not even talking about baseball.
Yeah, that ESPN anymore. He's getting complacent.
yeah, they're forcing his persona like down his own throat. Like we get it. He's the off color. He's kind of tries to be funny. He's very self-deprecating. Blah blah blah. We don't need that shoved down our throat every 5 minutes. Like
No.
we get it. We've seen it on ESPN.
It's too much. It's just too much.
And I don't really like Ben Davis at all. And McCarthy's just
Yeah, on those two.
white guy.
Definitely.
I miss Harry Kay, that's for sure.
Yeah.
You know what? Call me crazy, but I miss Chris Wheeler at this point.
Oh, God.
Dude, at least you'd learn something from Chris Wheeler. It might put you to sleep, but it would actually
The fake
be
punch.
factual, and it would be.
He talked baseball, that's true.
I mean, he could come up with 1972, August 12th, so and so had 3 walks, but like just off the top of his head.
True. That's true.
Yeah. All right, let's get into the Pat Neshek trade. Moving on. So they received 3 1A prospects for Neshek, a 36-year-old reliever with a 1.12 ERA. So Jose Gomez, shortstop, and then pitchers Alejandro Requena, and they also got Squints from the movie Sandlot, aka JD Hammer. So go check out JD Hammer and check out the specs. It's freaking awesome.
It is awesome. It's definitely good. I mean, I had put my thoughts on it. I did a video a little bit earlier before we did the show. I mean, you kind of want me to just go over what I had.
Oh, I didn't even realize you did a video.
Yeah, I did it at like 6:20. I did it right when I got off of work.
Gotcha.
But I mean, I could reiterate what I said.
Reiterate within like 15 seconds worth, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a great trade. You basically got 3 raw prospects that for a middle to back end bullpen guy. He's 37 years old. They're going to get him for a 2-month rental, basically. So you got 2 pitching prospects that could always help you. You know, we don't have that. That's a weakness. And you got a shortstop that can play second, third, and even a little shortstop. So it's a little reassurance for JP. But the big thing about this trade is it doesn't affect your 40-man roster. You know, they don't become eligible for the Rule 5 draft for another 2 or 3 years. Hammer's the closest one to it, and he's still under the eligibility for 2 more years. So, I mean, I think it's a great trade. It doesn't affect any of our young prospects in the minors now in Double and Triple A. So I think it's a good move.
Yeah, I think if you look at it just alone, I think it's a good move because, yeah, you're basically getting 3 single-A guys that have shown some ability for a 36-year-old who certainly wasn't going to be on your team next year. The only concerning thing for me is I do wonder if he could have, by he, I mean Clontac, could have possibly packaged Neshek with a Kendrick or with a Joseph or with a Cesar Hernandez or Freddie Galvis and potentially gotten a more higher level type prospect because all 3 of these guys realistically might they make the major leagues, but like they're not, you know, these guys aren't even top 20 prospects like in the system, in the Philly system right now. But with that said, you know, they're all 20, 21 years old and could certainly get better. I mean, JD Hammer certainly looks like a character and his numbers look good, but you know, when you look a little more into him, you see that his fastball is only lower 90s and he really only has 1 other pitch, which is why he's already in the bullpen. So, you know, everybody wants him to be the future closer, but does he really have future closer stuff? Probably not.
Well,
overall, it's probably a good trade.
Well, here's the way I look at it. They basically bought 3 $20 lottery tickets, and you're hoping that you can scratch off $50 on one of those lottery tickets.
Right.
That's the way I see it.
Yeah.
You know, so you're hoping that you can get one of the guy pans out, gets to the majors.
Well, it keeps your young core intact. That's the main thing. It keeps it keeps Rhys Hoskins and Crawford and Nick Williams off the eligibility of another team taking them in the Rule 5 draft. So that's what it really helps us with. That's what's so great about this move. And hey, if they do turn into a star later down the road, it's even better for us.
I think it also shows the value of relievers right now because if you compare what the Tigers got for JD Martinez, who is probably the top 10, 15 hitter in baseball right now, they essentially got the same thing the Tigers did in their return for Pat Neshek. So, I mean, it is what it is. It's a weak market right now.
Would you guys have rather gotten 3 prospects back in return, like 3 lottery tickets, so to speak, or maybe like a more established one?
I'm happy with them
because these guys are like top 20 on their lists, right?
I'm happy. I'm happy with what we did because, like I just said, we kept our young core intact. If you add another top prospect to this organization, we could lose a J.P. Crawford, a Dylan Cousins, a Reese Hoskins. So I'm happy that we've got lower A guys on the team.
Well, I always kind of go with the guy who has the most upside. If they could have flipped him for one prospect that has a really, really high, I'd have probably done that. Because Klentak has kind of been doing that quantity over quality for a while now, and look what it's got him. Because to me, at
least he made a trade at the trade deadline this year, unlike last year. Didn't want to give up anybody.
Yeah, well, there's still probably more to be made, hopefully.
Yeah.
Who was there to give up last year, though?
Hellickson. Hellickson was a guy, like, why wasn't he gone?
I mean, what are you going to get for Hellickson, though?
Yeah.
Better fucking get rid of him, though.
If you can.
I think more than likely you're going to see Joseph and Hernandez probably traded in the offseason. It's probably not going to happen in the next week.
I don't see it happening either. I just don't think there is an attractive piece for a playoff team right now. Not with the way they've been playing. That's
and Galvis too.
Yeah, I think that's your best bet now is to package like a Galvis and a Tommy Joseph to get a better prospect.
That's kind of what I was hoping they would do. I mean, you look at the like what the Yankees did and stuff like that's kind of what they did.
Mm-hmm.
In their trade. So, but I don't know. Maybe like I said, maybe they're hanging on to these guys until the offseason. So it could very well be the only trade that Klentak makes.
Which I'm fine. I'm fine with it. I don't know if Tony is okay with the trade, but I was happy with the trade.
Oh no, I'm okay with it. It's realistically they probably got back about the most they would get.
Yeah. Well, I do prefer the logic of I'd rather get one guy with the highest upside than 3 guys like this.
Yeah.
So I'm with you there.
Well, look at the trade that we did last year. What was it, 2 years ago for Giles? I mean, he was a great quality shutdown closer, and you got 5 prospects for him. At 3 of them possibly could be big pieces in Velasquez and Tom Eshelman and the bat Aruzi or whatever his name was. I can't pronounce it, but that really hasn't really panned out for us. So maybe this was the route to go.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, they got a couple. They got several prospects in that trade.
Yeah, I'm saying like three guys that are supposed to be big prospects. Velasquez was a really high prospect on the Astros, on the Astros top 30. So, and it really hasn't panned out for us. It really hasn't really worked out. So maybe this was the route to go.
But if I were them, I would have rather. I mean, obviously, Neshek wasn't going back to Houston, but I would have rather them got a prospect like Derek Fisher type, who seems almost kind of like a safe bet to be a 25, 30 home run guy in the major leagues, like pretty much soon, pretty soon. So, like I said, it's just different philosophy. There's not necessarily a right or wrong way.
So say we did get that, Tony, though, who would you be willing then to let go then? Like Crawford or Reese Hoskins, since they're up, like for this guy, so to speak, like for that prospect.
You mean on the 40-man roster?
Yeah, like to prevent, because like I said, they're up for eligibility this year. So by getting that guy, you would be keeping him, but who would you really like? You would be willing to obviously probably get rid of Crawford then, right?
On the 40-man roster?
Yeah, no, I'm saying to make the 40-man roster so they don't get taken for the Rule 5.
I mean, I'm assuming there's a relief pitcher on there somewhere that you could put on there instead of Crawford. Like, I'm not really following.
Yeah, I'm confused about the whole Rule 5 thing too that you're trying.
Okay,
to...
so So JP,
that doesn't make sense. They're not just going to put their best prospects on the fucking.
Yeah, that's not affecting like Hoskins.
No. I think you guys are missing it. So it all depends when they're what age they were drafted. Okay, for example, like JP's and Reese are not on the 40-man roster. Okay, since they're up for eligibility, since he was drafted when he was 18, this is his 5th year. So you have to look to see who you're going to get rid of so he can be put on the 40-man roster so he's not taken in the Rule 5 draft. That's what happened with Odubel a few years ago. They claimed like Mazzara and a couple guys so they wouldn't get taken in the Rule 5 draft. What I'm saying is when they're up for eligibility, you claim them to put them on the 40-man roster. It's not like you could just say kick Benoit off and put them on the roster is what I'm saying. For prospects, it's different for the prospects. I think this is going over your guys' head. I don't think I don't think I'm landing what I'm trying to get across here.
I get what you're saying. I just don't think that Hoskins and Crawford and those guys are at any risk of that.
Yeah, I would guess that.
Right,
too. Yeah.
right, because we didn't take any high-level forget it. Never mind. I don't want to drag it on. Just
yeah. Well, there's no more topic, so we'll kind of just end on final thoughts then. Tony, you had something else?
No.
Oh, okay. We got final thoughts. Anything else you guys have to say?
I'm sorry. Final thoughts? No, I pretty much got what I wanted to say. I'm hoping we can possibly move Tommy Joseph at some point this year so we can get Reese Hoskins up before the September call-ups. I'd really like to get him some action and get him some at-bats because he's really at this point being blocked by Tommy Joseph. There's no way buts about it. So I'd like to get a package deal and trade some guys.
Yeah, I unfortunately think it doesn't look like it's going to happen. I agree with you on that. I would like to see Hoskins up sooner rather than later. But at this point, the best thing is maybe that Tommy Joseph has a really strong last 2 months and they're able to trade him to an American League team in the offseason. It's just, yeah, there's not really a lot to look forward to right now. Maybe there's a small chance that Clentac is putting together a huge trade, basically getting rid of the right side of the infield, Hernandez and Tommy Joseph for prospects. Who knows? But it's, we certainly haven't heard any rumors like that. So,
yeah,
it's going to be a rough final 2 months.
Well, as long as Nick Williams stays up, that's all I care about. So keep him up. That's it. All right, that's about it. I got nothing I want to say. So Kyle Gaffner, Tony Del Grosso, I am Adrian Fedke. I guess after the show, we'll try and figure out what Kyle's trying to say. We're out.
Later.